This AI writes LinkedIn replies in your tone of voice. This 10-part automated AI system will take a complete clone of your voice fed in by your own LinkedIn history and data. We'll look at things like vocab, word choice, grammatical patterns, all the way up to figurative languages and idiosyncrasies. And then what it will do is it will get the data from any LinkedIn post. It will take the post, it will take the comments, and then based on that, and then based on your own specific tone of voice, will actually spit out 3 potential suggestions that you can use. Press the button, hey presto, you've got a comment. And I developed this AI Copilot Chrome extension. I'll put a link down below in the description so you can just add it and use it as you want to. So I'd start with, if I may, how this automation works, then I'll show you exactly how you build this entire thing step by step. So the first thing I want to do, guys, is basically get your tone of voice. So for this example, I've got Alex Hormozzi's tone of voice, and we break it down based on 10 to 11 different components that basically identify how you speak. So that's things like vocab and word choice. So for Alex, he'll use simple words like stuff, make, best, neat, specialized terms like commoditized. It goes on to explain things like occasionally use colloquialisms and slang for a casual relatable tone. Examples: gonna, suck at it, no bueno, give me my money, etc. And we break this down in lots of detail. We look at grammatical patterns, we look at things like punctuation, we look at sentence structure and length, rhetorical devices, paragraph structure, and all this, by the way, guys, is basically from a PDF. It's like from a book that Alex wrote. That's how I got the data. But for you, what we're going to do is download all of your comment history on LinkedIn. And from that, we're going to feed it to this really cool system here. Okay. And then that will basically create a tone of voice document for you. And so to start off, we're going to run this scenario. I've set it up in such a way that you can use it for as many different people as you want to. So if you want to turn this into a business or monetize it, we're able to do that. So look, how does this work? Basically, I say, who is it? Well, it is Jack. Then we come to the text box. We're going to double click and post in LinkedIn information like so. Awesome. And then what will happen is this will kick in. So we hit run once. And what this will do, guys, is work its way through everything. So we're going to do vocab, word choice, then grammatical patterns, then punctuation, then sentence structure, rhetorical devices, paragraph structure, tone and mood, coherence, cohesion, idiosyncrasies and quirks, figurative languages, and then it's done. You try to say that before you've had a coffee. Craziness. And then what this will do is create a document. And that document will be the living, breathing embodiment of your tone of voice. Now, if you're doing an automation with AI to get it to sound like you, what I would recommend that you do is feed it in the modality in which you want to communicate. In other words, if it's for LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, train it on your written text. Don't train it on your spoken text. And now I have a full document breaking down all the stuff that makes Jack's beautiful written language the thing it is. Let's zoom in and have a quick look, shall we? Use dashes to emphasize points or add dramatic pause. That's true. I am a prolific dasher. Use informal and conversational languages. Dude, this is one thing Joe's known for. It is informal and colloquial language. I mean, check out this jumper, guys. I mean, come on, what's going on? So this goes through. Don't worry about the fact it's got these asterisks on. Mainly, we're just going to leave the language and run anyway. It doesn't really matter, but we could change the prompt to clean it up. Then after we've added our Copilot Chrome, which I'll show you how to do in a second, all we have to do, whenever on LinkedIn now, we see this beautiful add comments button at the top right. Whatever post I'm on, I said, you know, I like this post. I like this guy. Let me add a comment. And this scenario, guys, what it does is essentially when we hit the button on the LinkedIn page, it brings over all the comments and the post to this webhook here. We throw it into our comment generator. The comment generator is basically going to look at all this information. It's going to look at your tone of voice, and it's going to spit out basically as many comments as you want to. I've programmed it for 3. I've said make it valuable, ask questions, make it engaging, but you can make it 5, 10, 15. You could make it value-based. You can configure it to your own personal preferences, which means that every single person watching this video is going to get a completely different output. And that's always been the biggest challenge with AI. And we've solved it. By giving it a tone of voice, it stops sounding like ChatGPT and starts sounding like you in the way that you want to be heard on the platform. So the comment generator will generate that, and then it fires it straight back by Webhook, straight over to LinkedIn for you to simply press the button and have it work. So look, if we come back over to LinkedIn to this page, let's just refresh it just to make sure we're on the latest and greatest at this page and what's going on. So here we are. I click on add comment. LinkedIn Genie is now sending all this information to Webhook straight away. Boom. How quick is that? I love your approach to addressing demand curves and profit margins. It's all about balancing urgency and value. Have you found any particular strategies that consistently increase conversion rates? What a great question. It's informative, I'm engaging, I'm speaking to people, right? What a great comment. I just asked it to give one short, too long, so you can pick, but again, configure it as you want to. Let's say I like this one here. I say I boom that. We get the confetti, because you know I love confetti, guys. It's so easy to please me, I feel, these days on LinkedIn. And then I can post. and then I get rid of it and I'm done. And you can have your 20 top influencers, because one of the strategies of how people are growing on LinkedIn at the moment is you get the top 20 individuals in your niche. And essentially what you do is you go into their posts, their viral posts, because all of the customers that you want are on that individual's post. So the idea is that we go to that individual post, we drop value, we add as much value as humanly possible, and then essentially other customers see you adding value. That builds up your reputation, your brand, and your LinkedIn grows. I'm Jack, by the way. My YouTube channel and my school community are all about three things. We're about the latest AI. We are about incredible automations. But most importantly, we are about the stuff that works. And yes, that does include automations, but when it comes to growing, sometimes we want the depth in AI automation, but we also want breadth. We want to know how things like LinkedIn works and YouTube automation, all this cool stuff. So we've got masterclasses in the community on things like LinkedIn that I encourage you to check out if you are part of the group. They're really, really cool. We've got a few in there. I think you'd find it of great value. But with that in mind, if you haven't already, grab that coffee and let's dive straight in. Okay guys, so to start off, I need you to do one thing. And the first thing I want you to do is create a webhook. Now the first step I'm gonna get you through now is developing the AI Copilot, the Chrome extensions. I've got a video on screen here. I'd encourage you to check out. If you haven't seen any of these beautiful AI Copilots before, your world's about to change. Now check this out. I click on Webhook Response. Starts 200 body, excuse me, not Webhook Response. Let me get rid of this. Oh my goodness, how many coffees have I had today? We go on webhooks, we go on custom webhook. Awesome, we choose a hook. We'll call this one, let's call this one LinkedIn Takeover. I'm feeling like taking over LinkedIn today. LinkedIn Takeover, and just a BT, it stands for Build Together, and of course our patent pending eyes emoji. Awesome, click that, click OK, click save. What this has now done is generated a custom webhook. This essentially is how we send the information from a part of the internet to another. So we're gonna get the data, we're gonna throw it, and this webhook's gonna catch it. And then that allows, and once we get it into Mate, guys, we can do anything. We can do anything we possibly want once we get it into the scenario. And we're getting great at doing that. So we copy that link. Awesome. So what do we do now? Now I want you to go down to the description. If you want to use the webhook, the Copilot that I built specifically for you for the scenario, and you're going to change one piece of data. You're going to right click on contentscript.js and you're going to click on open with. Now, if you're on Mac, I want you to use text edit. If you're on Windows, I'll put the link of the thing you should be using on the screen somewhere so you can check it. But essentially, we're using text edit instead of Word because we need it to be plain text, because Word will add little bits of formatting, all this crazy stuff. Then guys, what I want you to do is Control F, okay? Type in EU2, like so. And you'll see it right at the top there, okay? This is your webhook now. So you're gonna you're gonna basically highlight everything before the asterisk, before the little apostrophe, excuse me. You're gonna delete that, and then just put this one in here. That's literally all you gotta do. That's your job done for the day. What a great day's work that is, guys. All jobs already finished. Then we click save. How cool is that? And then we click X. And then guys, you also need to come to this pop-up.js, to the exact same thing, right click, open with text edit, and then do the same thing to get that hook changed here. Now, I want you then to head over to Chrome. We're gonna get over to extensions. You can do that by top right, and then come down, hover over extensions, and then manage extensions like so. I am going to remove my LinkedIn quotation sender like so. Now guys, you need to, if you don't mind, come over to developer mode, make sure that is enabled. That basically lets you be like Neo in the Matrix in this Chrome environment, and we love it. So what do we do here? You're gonna come on to load unpacked like so. Click this button. You should see a folder. I want you to upload the folder. So you click on the folder, you upload it. You need to unzip it when you download it. You just double click it and it's fine. And then we've got this LinkedIn comments quotation sender. As a matter of course, when I download these things, I quite like to just make sure that they're pinned in the toolbar so I can see it, so it's visible. It's just handy. It's a good best practice when you're getting started with it. I come off this now. So we need to check and validate that this works. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the information, okay, from LinkedIn is getting over to Make our no-code software, okay? Now, how cool is this? We see this add comment thing at the top. That looks pretty promising to me. So if I come back over to our scenario, like so, you'll see, let's redetermine the data structure. So this is basically telling the webhook how the data is going to arrive. So look, I come over, I click on add comment, error fetching comment, that's no problem, we don't worry about that. We come over, successfully determined. We click OK. And essentially next, guys, we want to run the whole thing again. So run the scenario once, wait for new data, come back over to LinkedIn. Let's refresh the page as a, for instance, and then let's click on this add comment section right here. What do we have? The post text and comments. Phenomenal, cool. So what that's done, guys, is pulled through all the text from that post and every single comment that we've got, which is nothing short of epic. And now we've got the data from Make, we can effectively do whatever we want. And yes, by the way, the color of my cap has changed. That's just how transformative this automation is. I don't know what else to tell you. So look, let's have a quick look then. And it matches up perfectly. So we've got the comments. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the next thing that we need to do then is create your own particular tone of voice. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if we're looking at creating AI for text, we want to use a text version of your voice. So for that, on LinkedIn, what you can actually do, if you go over to your settings section, and you can see here, what I want you to do is come down and click on data privacy on the left-hand side. And then you can actually click this one here, get a copy of your data that will allow you to export all the data for all the posts that you've done. You can come and check, for example, check the rich media, and that will just show you actual physical things that you've said. So you can just copy that if you want to, or request a download. And that usually takes like 10 or so minutes, and then you can use that to train the model. Now, so let's take a second to create a complete clone of your own tone of voice, and the system that we do that with is pretty comprehensive. It covers a lot of aspects. And if I show you the system we've got here, we've got the Airtable, which essentially is going to be the thing where we feed it your document, and that triggers the entire automation. And then essentially, guys, what we do is have all these individual GPT modules, these GPT employees. And essentially what's happening is each one of them is responsible for a different aspect of your communication style. So for example, this guy here is just responsible for your vocab and word choice. If I click on him, for example, we ask it to analyze the text to create a tone of voice guidelines for vocabulary and word choice. Please provide detailed guidelines for each element, including relevant examples from the given text. It is imperative that you use guidelines, read instructions to a language model to emulate the style exactly. So we're asking it to write the instructions in a way that we're instructing a language model. So for example, when speaking, you must blah, 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 so that the model will know that it's instructions, it's not just descriptive. Feel free to include examples from the written text. I always find it really helpful to say, you know, he prefers simple language, like the word cuz, or that's just simple. And then give it examples. And then sometimes give the opposite example. So it's really good to, and then what this will do, guys, is lace in multiple examples. Like, for example, can you see here how it says things like, make some distinctive word choices to grab attention. Examples, egregious amounts of money. Great on your belief system. Niche slap. You know, it just gives you those wonderful examples. Then it goes on to do good and bad. Like, I would sleep with you under a bridge if it came to that bad, of using slang or colloquialisms to the point of reducing clarity. It was a total shizer show, bro. Incredible. Right. So we have that. Analyze a given text for the following, and then we just give it the specifics. So vocabulary and word choice, analyze writer's use of unique, specialized, or repetitive words and phrases, identify the frequency and diversity of the writer's vocabulary, examine use of jargon, slang, or colloquialisms, determine the writer's performance for simple or complex words, look for any distinctive or unusual word choices, and assess the reading age level required to understand the vocabulary used, and then so on and so forth. And if I just whip over very quickly to my school community, so all these automations, the blueprints, the agents, all that stuff is all available inside the school community. If I come over to Classroom, I come over to every AI automation, and if I just type in tone of voice, which I've got right here, I can see here the segmentation prompt, and this basically is the blueprint that we're using for this. So for example, vocab and word choice, grammatical patterns, and then we've got all the different bits and pieces. So to create this, guys, what we now need to do is open up a new scenario, and the first thing I want you to do is create an Airtable. Now, one of the cool reasons why I would like you to make an Airtable, and if you're not familiar with Airtable, Airtable's like Google Sheets on steroids. It's just a really cool, simple way, bottom left to create, by the way, start from scratch. Really cool, simple way for us to actually feed it multiple tone of voices. So say you've got a client and you want to generate revenue with this. You could say, great, business A, business B, business C. You can download their data. You could even scrape their LinkedIn data if you want to, or get the data from anywhere else and start to create these custom tone of voice agents for those clients to do their LinkedIn for them, or any other feature that you would like. So we'll call this base build together LinkedIn voice with a beautiful emoji. What do we fancy today emoji wise, guys? Should we go for something like, let's go for a green tick, something nice and simple and crisp for a beautiful Saturday. And if you're watching some Monday, remember Saturday is a state of mind. Saturday is a mentality. So we're going green. Cool. Now I want to give two different field names for this. One is going to be who, because I'm assuming I'm just going to write this in a way that you can do it for many people if you like. One is who. We like that. Obviously, we need to add a little emoji, because I know the emojis is like, it's like, oh, is it worth the 2 seconds? In short, yes, it is worth 2 seconds, because when you come back to look at this stuff, like, it makes a huge difference. And then turn off voice and then we'll have a little blue heart for that because we love it. Cool. Assignee, I want you to right click on edit field. Instead of user, I just want you to put created time, and just type in create time at the top. Click next, and then right click on status, edit field, and you're going to type in last modified time, and then you can type that in the top as well. The reason why we're writing it is because we can add emoji if we do write it in there. Incredible. Guys, that's it. That's the entirety of Airtable. Airtable, you get like 10,000 free records, so if you've not used it before, I'll put a link down below in the description so you can push the buttons and have a rock and roll good time. Incredible. Now look, let's come back over to our call automation. Now what we're saying here is wait until you see something cool that appears. I'm going to refresh this one so it loads up. Okay, and if I type in, let's have a look. What do we call this guy? Build together LinkedIn voice. Incredible. And it's found it. Table is table 1. And I'm going to scroll down a tiny bit. Trigger field is going to be last modified time. So in other words, only grab the field that was modified last. Label field, we want tone of voice. Limit is 10. That's fine. Formula, blah, blah, blah. That's completely okay. And do that from now on. Ace. Then guys, all we do, okay, is come down. We have OpenAI. So we're going to click on create a completion like so. Max tokens is going to be 0. 0 defaults to the maximum. It's nice and easy. It's definitely set a standard for simplicity. Add a message. Then we've got the role. Role is going to be user and the message content. So the message content, guys, is basically the prompt that I just covered here, for example, and it is the same prompt all the way through, except for the aspect of your grammar and your tone of voice that we change in each of the modules. So basically copy the prompt, come over, message content, paste that in. And at the bottom, we say, look, again, we reiterate, write these instructions as text. And then you can see how here at the bottom, if I just click this one more time, the text, it has here, right? Tone of voice, like that, boom. Now you may be asking, Jack, why are we taking 10 individual modules instead of doing one? Well, the reality is that if we do 10, the quality of the output is going to be better because there's a lot of different reasons for that. But if you ask ChatGPT to write 3,000 words covering all these things, you know, the quality we get isn't going to be excellent. So we want each of these agents, each of these, these models to have a specific mission. And your mission is, look, dude, you're only looking at the vocab and word choice. That's the only thing I care about. That's why we're doing it this way. And the quality will be significantly better. And then what do? We just rename this one, for example, 1. We call this one. In fact, what was this one? Oh my goodness. Let's just double check that we named this one correctly. Come back over, vocab and word choice. Okay, awesome, sweet. So rename this one. Come back over here to our beautiful scenario. Vocab and word choice. Excellent. Guys, and it's as simple as that. And then you just repeat the process and you'll know, like, we have, what do we have? We have vocab. So basically you copy this information, or if you'd like to create your own framework, that's fairly simple to do. And you can do this. This is just the stuff that I found works really well. Grammatical patterns. So for example, on this one, identify the writer's use of specific grammatical structures, such as passive voice, complex tenses, or particular parts of speech. Analyze the writer's use of verb tenses and consistency in tense usage. Examine the writer's use of singular and plural nouns, as well as pronouns, blah, blah, blah. Punctuation, sentence structure and length, paragraph structure, tone and mood, overall coherence and cohesion. Analyze how well the writer's ideas flow and connect throughout the piece. So for example, the next one we would do, which would come here, we would clone it, we would come down, connect that, rename this one to the second one that we have, which in this case is grammatical patterns. Awesome. If I can copy it, can I copy it? What is going on today? Oh my goodness. How many coffees down am I today? What is going on? Then look, 2, come here, 2. Grammatical patterns. Beautiful. Love fire emoji, we love it. Cool, click OK. And then guys, all you do, okay, is you open it up, you scroll down, you wait for this bit, analyze the following, and you just copy that bit, or whatever you want to change, remove, and then enter. Well, I need to actually copy the thing, don't I? That would be pretty handy. So let's grab this here. Okay, come back over to our automation. Wow, it looks like it's deleted it. That's pretty funny. Okay, come back over to user. Okay, we click OK. We come back. We come here. And guys, perfectly normal. This stuff happens. Come here. Come down to the content. Paste that whole thing in. Let's just click OK. Let's come back to our tone of voice. We copy this. We come back over. Obviously, guys, if you're just uploading this from the scenario, it will all be pre-populated for you, so you don't need to do any of this. It will just all appear for you automatically. So I come here, and I paste it in like that. And basically that's the same thing once over and again. And if you're in the community, to actually ever download this stuff, all you do is you find the automation on the left, like you come down, you download the JSON, and then when you come to this scenario, all you do guys, come down to more, import blueprint, you select the file, you click save, and then the entire thing will populate for you automatically, and it'll do it for both this scenario and also this scenario here. So you don't have to double tap, and it's just like boom, it appears. It'll save you some beautiful time. Now we've completed that. Let me just get rid of this one here, for instance. You just keep on rinse and repeating the entire thing until you get to all 10. And just out of respect for your time, I'm just gonna copy these here because it's the same process for all of them, like so. We copy, we Control C, we come back over, we zoom out a tiny bit, and then we're just gonna paste those into this automation. And it will not let me paste this, always allow access. Now we paste again, and voila. By the way, you may not see it on the screen, but it's just in the taskbar at the top. If it comes up with a little X, that's why that's happened. That's cool. And then we connect it. And the only thing we need to do with these, because I've copy and pasted them, is just to change the text to be the text from the Airtable. But in your case, if you've just uploaded this, you'll be absolutely fine with that. So I'm gonna quickly come and update these ones. And guys, one of the beautiful things about the group is the number of LinkedIn experts we've got. So we've got a guy called Joe Apfelbaum. He's done loads of really cool like LinkedIn automations for us, and he's got his own LinkedIn AI business. It's called Evie AI. I encourage you to check that out. People like absolutely love it that use that. And that has some of the different interesting features that you might find are quite handy. So I'll put a link down below for you to check that out if you're looking to upgrade your LinkedIn game. He's a cool source of knowledge and a wonderful person. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And the thing about the LinkedIn stuff, guys, is that it's like a platform. You can make any of these platforms work, but you can't be an expert in all of them at the same time. So you've kind of got to pick the one that you want. So if you're doing YouTube one week, LinkedIn the other week, it's awesome, but really it's like the focus that will help you get to the next level with this sort of stuff. So we've imported all this incredible stuff. We're gonna align it a little bit just so I think it looks nice and pretty. And the last thing I wanna do, guys, is basically just create a document then that will take this information, put it into a single file, we can use it ourselves and feed into language model and create this incredible automation. So the last part of this is to add in Google Doc, like so. Google Docs, oh my goodness, Google Docs, what is going on? Here we go. And I wanna show more, and let's have a look. Create document, cool. We are gonna call this one, let's give it the name of, and this is why I put who at the bottom, you see? Because then if you're doing it for business A, business B, business C, we can kind of change that a little bit ourselves. So we click on who. The content itself is basically gonna be everything we've got, right? So we start off with, again, with number one is vocab and word choice, and then we just put the results like so. And then number two, we just keep on repeating the process, grammatical patterns, and we can repeat this all the way down. Another thing is, guys, like if you are thinking about doing this for business, one of the cool things that you could do to this as well is get a card website. I'll put a link on the screen so you can check out some automations I've done with that. And what we could do essentially is get an individual that says, look, what is your LinkedIn page? They give you the LinkedIn page, and then what we could do for them is actually scrape their LinkedIn profile and build this tone of voice and build this entire automation for them. So they don't even need to do anything. You don't even need to touch anything. They've got a paper form, or they've got like a tally or something incredible like that. And essentially all they ever do is just enter the information, and their entire tone of voice is created, and this incredible outreach LinkedIn thing is created for them. Bespoke, based on all of their posting history, and they don't even need to do a single thing. How ridiculous would that be? You just got to think about like how easy it can be for them. And it's like, well, how do we know? Because one of the biggest problems with AI when it comes to use cases, which is why like no code automation and what we do in terms of AI is really cool, is because there are some limitations. And what's really sick is how we overcome those limitations and make them epic. So for instance, like what's one of the problems with some LinkedIn automations? Well, it just doesn't sound like you. And you're like, dude, why does this guy sound like a robot? Well, that's why we use this cool tone of voice 10-part system. So it does sound like you. And it's like, oh, but it's got like all the idiosyncrasies and structures, and it's just as coherent as individual that wrote it. And cohesion. And so we had that London meetup, guys, and it was very, very cool. People in this channel they are the best people I know. They're so cool. It was wonderful to catch people up. We had a little competition. We chatted AI, we chatted deals, we chatted all sorts of stuff. It was incredible. We click, okay, all right, sweet. And then what's gonna happen? We just need to basically pick the new document location. That's cool. come down to the bottom, let that load up. We're gonna do Germany in 2 or 3 weeks. So if you're in Germany or you fancy coming out there for some AI good times, we'd love to meet you. And I'd love to meet you and say, hey, what's going on? And chat and shake your hand in person and yeah, do all the cool stuff. So look, we've got Google Docs, that's created. We're now gonna save this scenario because we built quite a lot together. And now comes the moment of truth of how we build this. Look, and click on run once. That's checking Airtable. Nothing's come through. Okay, cool. So look, now, what do? We go to our Airtable, and what we need to do now, Di, is upload our tone of voice. So you should have had the email from LinkedIn by now, or we could just use a random tone of voice as a for instance. So this is my writing style based on some posts that I've made. So I'm gonna copy all of this beautiful stuff here. This is how I speak, this is how I write. I like it. What do? I come over then to our scenario. Now, obviously, this would be linked up and automatically if you're trying to do this for clients. So look, who? It is Jack, and tone of voice is right there. Boom. This, by the way, must be long text for this to work. Just FYI, just in case it doesn't work. If you just want to make sure you have that little bit of knowledge there. Okay, cool. Now, the last thing I just want to make sure is happening here is that we've got the name, we've got the location, and that's all fine. Cool. Then all we do, guys, quite simply, we run once. Airtable grabs it. Vocab and word choice working in the background, creating something interesting for us. And then that same piece of text, that same, yeah, just everything I wrote is now getting all these different aspects created to it. So like, even if you've got like an auto DM bot that's like selling to people in the DMs, wouldn't it be cool if it sounded just like you and not just some generic, hey, go and do this, please? This is the next gen of text AI. And I can even look and dig into this a little bit further. Like, let's have a look at what the result is, okay? Come down to choices, come down to usage, message, let's check it out. Let's see. Active voice. I favor the active voice. I tried this yesterday. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. That's exactly right. This was tried by me yesterday. So it said, like, look, here's Jack uses the active voice versus the passive voice. Here's what he said in the active. Here's what's not okay in passive. And we know that by giving these like models good examples and bad examples, the quality goes up. The quality just keeps going. It's like up emoji. I love it. And then we can see all this stuff is done and complete. And it's created a document for us. And then when I load that up, guys, I've got all of this information here, talking about punctuation, talking about use of ellipses. Now, if this was something that you wanted to give to your clients, all we would do in this scenario, guys, is we would come back and we would just add some formatting steps and we would just tidy it up and tighten up a little bit in terms of the outputs we want from these models, etc., etc. But because we're just feeding it to as an explainer of how we want the tone of voice to be, it's okay, but it's got asterisks and the font is an Arial, which is a feature of the document created. We need to change the standard font. So that's something that I'm pretty big on doing actually at the moment. Cool. So what do we need to do next? Well, we need to make one more smart scenario now. So let's take a step back about what we've done so far. You have, if I come over to LinkedIn, you have created a AI Copilot, okay, that basically is linked to your new scenario, which means that it will extract for you any comment, all the comments and all the posts back to your make scenario. Then in your make scenario itself, what you've got, okay, is you're grabbing all that data and you've now created your own unique tone of voice based on specifically how you write on LinkedIn, not even just your novels, your high school stuff, how you write on LinkedIn. So the next thing we need to do is combine those together to then create the responses, send it back to LinkedIn so you can push a few buttons and then you're gonna be ready to rock and roll. So the question is, how do we do that and what does that look like? So look, I want you to come back now over to the first scenario that we did. Click on this plus. Now what I want to use is ChatGPT. Now this is going to be controversial, okay? But I will be honest, over the past week or so, anecdotally, I've started using ChatGPT more than Claude. It's a weird one. Like the language just seems to, it's like they've done some upgrades to it. And like the language seems to be a little bit better, the reliability, some weird reason, this is correct completion by the way, for some weird reason, Claude's getting a lot more guardrails on it. I'm finding like I'm asking it to do things and it's not liking it. But ChatGPT's been super impressive, incredible retained memory. And at the moment, I'm preferring GPT 4.0. And I'll always be honest about the stuff that I'm using and why I'm using it. That's just my experience. I'd love to know down below if you're finding something similar, but that's why we're using GPT 4.0 and not Claude. Claude, I want to be on Team Claude. Bring me back over to Team Claude. I'm here to be sold. I just need you to work, man. I just need you to work with me a little bit. So look, we come down, we're gonna click on user, and then we got message content. So let's have a look at what the prompt is for this. And one thing I'll call out, guys, is I built the automation like this because this is the way that people are scaling by leaving those comments. So I wrote this in a particular way so that we get 3 responses, but I'll touch on that in a second. Now look, you are an AI tasked with creating 3 LinkedIn comment responses in the attached tone of voice. Now, I've said 3. In reality, that could be as many or as few as you like. Like, it doesn't have to be 3, it could be 50, it could be 500, whatever you want. Maybe 500 is too crazy, but you get the idea. I've just said 3, you can specify this as you wish. Your primary goal is to create engaging, authentic comments that align with the provided tone of voice and contribute meaningfully to the conversation. You are only capable of responding in the tone of voice guidelines provided. You'll be given text and comments from a LinkedIn post. So, important instructions. Before generating any responses, carefully read and internalize the separate tone of voice document provided. It is crucial that all generated content adheres to this specified tone. Generate exactly 3 responses for the post. Now, just to give you something to get started, I've said, look, I want 1 short response, 3 to 8 words, because sometimes you just want to be a little bit snappy. And it just give me 2 mid-length responses, like 2 to 4 sentences. And then I just specify things like, look, when generating responses, you must add value to the post, that is essential. Vary the tone and perspective, like value, question, or humor, so you have some variety. Occasionally refer to specific points in the post, include follow-up questions, ensure responses are diverse. And then say, look, tailor your responses to the context, like analyze the contents, the themes, the sentiments, the points of discussion. And the reason why this is so sick, guys, is like sometimes, and Joe Apfelbaum, I had a chat about this as well, is that like, if your AI is just reading the post. So for example, if I come back over, let's say we've got this, what if this was a photo? What if this was a video? And you're also commenting like, great job, man. But it's about like, maybe somebody's family member's passed away. You lose all of it. But by reading the comments, we get like 20, 30, 40, 50 different data touch points that we can say, oh, okay, obviously this is about something severe, and we can adjust it accordingly. So it's just, the more data points, the better. The comments are in an excellent way. And I think one of the most underutilized aspects actually when it comes to automations. So look, address any unanswered questions or explore angles related to the post topic. That's cool. So that basically means we're bringing something new to the discussion, something fresh. For longer responses, consider using emojis or formatting or bullet points. Output your response like this, generate 3 things. We have some code, don't worry about this for the time being. And then we have all the tone of voice at the bottom here. So we can all the kind of crazy tone of voice. Then guys, what you're gonna do is you're going to copy this or write the prompt exactly as you would like to. And then we're going to come over to automation then. So user, message content, and basically paste all of that in, all right? Now look, so you basically have that thing in there. Now don't worry about this. Let me explain what's going on with this because this can look a little bit confusing. All right, sweet. So you're gonna have posts and you're gonna have comments. So what is the post? Well, the post text is simply this. Awesome. And then we have the comments. Now for the comments, guys, I want you to come up here. Just get rid of these. Now this comes through as what we call an array. So each comment is like a new aspect on here, okay? So we're just gonna basically repeat this process, come down loads of times. Cool. Then all we do, guys, we're gonna come down, go 2, 3, comment 4, comment 5, comment 6, comment 7. And do this for as many comments as you want. I mean, you may as well kind of just go up to 100 to be fair. It doesn't really make a difference. So, I mean, like, because some of them may have, but I guess my point would be after 100, are you really going to get any new information from it? So I think you're just somewhere between, 20 and 50, something like that. Maybe 100 if you're fancying it, if they're particularly large posts. Come down to 18, 19, cool, 20. And we just simply do this little thing. Obviously, if you input this in, this will all be ready to rock and roll for you, so you can just get started. Okay, ace. And then once we've done this, the magic kind of begins. All right, so what's happened there now? It's got the actual prompt that we want. We come down and it's got our tone of voice and all of the data that we need. And then I want you to come down to show advanced settings. Okay. Tokens is going to be 0. And then guys, scroll all the way down. Don't worry about any of this stuff. The response format is going to be JSON object. And then we say, look, I want you to pass the JSON response. We love it. Then we click OK. Now, we give us a name. We have to give this a name. So we'll call this one, let's call this one Poster Magoo. Poster Magoo, what seems appropriate? Maybe a little bit of a guy's having a laughing, rolling good time. We've got Poster Magoo. And so if we add the webhook module back in, we come here, for instance, create webhook response. And all you're going to do, guys, is look, 1, 2, 3, that's it. And you're completely set. So all we do then is hit run once on the scenario, come back over to LinkedIn. Let's just refresh the page for good measure. And we've got this ace post by Farhone. Great LinkedIn guy doing very well with his industry in terms of helping people get jobs. And then I'm like, dude, let's just hit add a comment. That's what it does. LinkedIn Genie does its work in the background. Consistency is key. Love that. And guys, we get the confetti coming down. While what an inspiring story, her perseverance and dedication are truly admirable, it's a reminder that international students often possess an exceptional work ethic. Love it. Or, this really resonates with me. International students face immense challenges, but being unparalleled dedication to their roles. What steps can UK employers take to recognise and leverage this talent? Guys, that is literally insane. So why did I build this automation? Because it's awesome. And I think it's sick. And you can literally configure this in any single way that you'd like to. And with that in mind, guys, go crush it.